to war. Who's calling us home? And into the combat zone we roll. Buffalo combat zone. The war is ours to own. Bill's Mafia rise under crimson skies. Defeats disdain. Victory's glory in the Buffalo combat zone. Buffalo combat zone. The war is ours to own. Bill's Mafia rise under crimson skies. Defeats disdain. Victory's glory in Buffalo combat zone.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sports book of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Combat Zone. You have Alex and Randall here waiting on Miley. He'll be a couple minutes late. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We're going to get into some good stuff today as it relates to the trade deadline and what just came out and maybe some of the things we're hearing, and also kind of go over the Chiefs-Bills game. What's up, Randall?
What's going on? Beautiful victory Monday. Beautiful victory Monday. Nobody can take that away from us, even though Chiefs fans try to do it.
They try to do it immediately.
Yeah, it's your Super Bowl.
Yeah, before the game was over, it was already they were already doing it. So
right.
Yeah, I think that I didn't expect us to win the game. I was actually pretty down on our chances. It's not because I thought we're not a good team or anything like that. I just didn't think we had it in us to do it. The Chiefs are playing so well.
Right.
And we've been playing kind of cupcake teams, tomato cans, like
right.
Broussard says. So I did kind of think that this would be uglier than it usually is. And I should have known better because we're built to play that team and we know how to play that team. The familiarity came out in this game, if you noticed it.
Yeah.
Even with, us having maybe some disadvantages here because they're talking about their injuries now, but we have way worse injury situation than they do, and it's not
right.
close. What's up, Miley?
What's up? Good delay, guys.
Not much, man. So I felt like that was a whole thing, like that they were trying to make an excuse about with it, and just our familiarity with their scheme on defense, I think, really helps us cater a game plan to what they like to do to us, and that came out. And then on the our side of it, the defensive side, I mean. I know Hoyt's a big loss, but when Javon Solomon came in after him to do that same role, I thought he did great. I don't think they were using Solomon like that early in the year. I know people are saying that he has been underwhelming. I think this role could suit him a lot better, playing kind of in that three-tech NASCAR kind of role for him,
right?
Stand-up three-tech. And I just thought that we cage rushed really well. I think we kept him in. The only thing really downside-wise was just the big plays we gave up. And I think you sacrificed some of that just with the Hancock.
Mahomes.
And and they're faster than everyone. And Hancock this is his first real game where he had to play against a team of this caliber. And I thought Hancock, other than he made some mental mistakes, but I thought he made some good plays in this game that really give me hope. Like it wasn't like Rapp where it just felt like Rapp couldn't do it because he's not athletic enough. I feel like Hancock was just like, oh, he just should have done this instead of this. And it would have changed the dynamics of how we felt about his game. I mean, he was at fault for a couple deep throws. I think those can be cleaned up pretty easily, and he's so early. I still want to see him out there.
For sure. I think it was actually like best case scenario for Jordan Hancock, right? Because those all 22 mistakes that he made are so easily fixable. It's like, hey, it was like rookies doing rookie things.
Yeah.
And then we still got to win out of it. So perfect kind of scenario. I mean, when it comes down to the defense, which I agree, Javon Solomon did come into that NASCAR when looking at that front line. Also, we have to take into account that I think that because we did play a lot of dime, which I do think that dime will come into the phase. I don't think it was just the Kansas City Chiefs, but then the ability to play dime and then use a rotation of Javon Solomon and Dorian Williams in that NASCAR package as well, because they're having him set the edge and things along those lines so they can rotate into that job and then probably bring in Landon Jackson, which I agree. But I really loved what I saw when it came down to defense, and it came down to just like, I mean, systematically just looking way more sound when it came down to it. Like, to me, in the first half of the season, it looks like we were just playing like spot coverage zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sit in your circle, cover it, and then don't follow anybody. And what I saw in the Chiefs is we were playing just more match coverage, which is what you do in 2025. And we saw everybody just following routes now. Instead of just sitting in that coverage, Max Harrison would follow his guy. Cam Lewis had an incredible game. He was covering like crazy.
What's up, Miley?
Yeah, I was going to give him some credit. Sorry, I'm just scarred from the Texans game last year.
Yeah, I mean, like
and the one catch he gave up against Justin Jefferson. Don't act like
I don't even that one. It's more so just that Texans
rough.
game.
Yeah.
But like even Rashee Rice had a really nice whip route that he covered, and it was Mahomes' first read for it, and he had to bounce out and scramble and then got hit really hard. So like Cam Lewis did a great job, which is always like semi-concerning because now you're looking like Taron Johnson has not been playing well and then gets injured, right? And then we're looking at like these rotational pieces, the amount of money that we spent on some of these guys like Terrell Bernard and Taron Johnson, and they're just kind of like younger is better at the moment, and it's working. So we should stick to what we know, not who we paid, sort of thing. Yeah. So I'm curious to see that. I just saw a lot of good things. You know, we only had 5 missed tackles yesterday.
Yep.
Right? Like beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
3 for 13 on third down as well.
Yep. 10 quarterback hits. Even Ogunjobi played well on the inside. He wasn't that systematically like impactful, but his bull rush on the inside really compressed the pocket and then let the pocket sit and condense and then let our edges do work. So that was great to see for Ogunjobi because now, you know, we unfortunately lost Hoyt for the year and things like that. It was just all around good, you know. Rashee Rice only had 4 catches for 80 yards, and those were on scrambles. And like credit to
days, really.
Yeah.
He beat us in 2 that killed us.
Right. And then credit, as you said, you know, like knowing KC, and that's Sean McDermott. When Sean McDermott plays the Dolphins and the Chiefs, he generally now knows how to do it. And that last stop at halftime was McDermott, right? He smartly made that timeout so he can bring in bigger guys to stop the run, call the timeout. And that Chiefs flat route they do that every single time in the end and the goal line when they need to. And that was covered, blanketed. And then the third down was great by Cole Bishop. So that was all McDermott. And McDermott really needs to just call defensive plays for the rest of his Buffalo tenure. Yeah. Offensive-minded head coaches do it. Defense, just do it. Like, just call it. It's fine now. You built
bad, but Brabich isn't good. So
yeah, right. Really. You built the culture enough to where everybody walks into the building and does what they need to do without asking. You're set there. Call defensive plays now.
I'll just say, before Miley gets into it, on the goal line, especially when the Chiefs love to leak, to motion Worthy back and forth.
Fake it. Yep.
Fake it, and then he likes to leak it out and just throw it off in the flat. And we knew it was coming. Like you could see it. It was like there, and then he had to come off of it at one point. That might have been the Kelsey play. And then we have 100 people here, by the way. Please like and subscribe to this channel. It's really good. That's the fastest we ever hit 100. Live. So what I was saying is, I think that is the play that he went back to Kelsey. I think in the back of the end zone were Bishop, which I think we should give him his flowers. I'll let Miley give him his flowers because he was just this game really made me believe in what he can provide to this team long term. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Miley.
Yeah. I guess the first thing I want to say is anyone who calls Josh Allen a tush-push merchant, watch that last drive, and it shows he's not like – if the Chiefs could run a tush-push there, that's a completely different game. But they can't because Mahomes can't handle it. He got injured running a QB sneak, in 2019, and they don't run it anymore.
Yep.
And them not being able to get at the 1 yard line. If that's the Bills, we run a tush push there on first down. We probably get it. If not, then we go to something else. But
Yeah.
we get that play a lot, and people are like, "Oh, it's just a tush push. It means nothing." Well, KC couldn't run it, and they lost 4 points because of that in a 7-point game where they got into field goal range at the end. That's a completely different game if they get a touchdown there. So I just want to bring that up. But I think one thing I'm starting to see is this is looking like Bean's best offseason in recent memory. The draft, he's hit on some studs. Deion Walker looks like a beast. Mad Max has looked really good in the 2 games. Jackson Hawes has brought some good value in the 5th round. Jordan Hancock's brought good value. Dorian Strong looked good when he played. Unfortunate for the injury. TJ Sanders didn't look great and then got injured. You can't really control that. Landon Jackson hasn't been much. So day 2, he wasn't great. But, I mean, he's hit on a lot of picks. And then in the offseason, the Joey Bosa signing is looking like probably the best signing of Bean's tenure. He is playing like the Joey Bosa of old, and we got him for $12 million. That is an absolute steal. The Josh Palmer, I don't care about stupid numbers, how many catches, how many yards he has. The impact he makes is worth the $12 million he got. The Michael Hoyt signing looked great. Unfortunately, tore his Achilles. You can't control that, but that looked like an elite signing. Larry Ogunjobi's done good in the time he spent on the field. Just overall, there's just a lot of good Bean has done this offseason, and it's really coming to fruition. And I think it's kind of made up for the lackluster the last couple of years prior where he was kind of tight against the cap and didn't draft great. It's looking like this past year he had a little more money and really killed it in the draft. So far, it's only 8 games, so it's hard to fully judge. But I just want to give Bean his flowers there because I feel like the fan base constantly attacks him for his mishaps. So when he does do a good job, I want to give him credit there. But yeah, the defense really inspired me, not because we stopped them to 21 points. It was more so how we played against them. We were able to stop their speed. Max Harrison shows that he is legit. Yes, he hasn't played a full game yet. He's only doing the rotating. So there's still time will tell on that. But his speed matches with Xavier Worthy, which kind of takes away that element that killed us last year in the conference championship game. We just couldn't stop their speed. We have someone who can do that. This pass rush is the best I've ever seen out of Buffalo. Even with Hoyt going down, Rousseau, Bosa, and Apinesa is enough. They have been dominant all year long. I mean, Rousseau not so much at the beginning, but he was injured, so I'll give him a pass there. And the D tackle room, despite dealing with so many injuries, has played pretty decent. Deion Walker's been really good, and then like the practice squad guys, Zion Logue, when he played, has been decent enough. Kadarian Mathers, I thought looked okay. Larry Ogunjobi's been good. Like they haven't been a black hole to say per se. With all the injuries they've dealt with, you would think, oh, they're just screwed. No, they've held up their end, which is nice to see. And then getting Taylor Rapp out of this defense has really raised the floor on it. We're not getting gashed on these plays. Jordan Poyer looks better than he did in Miami last year. And then Jordan Hancock, while he did not have a good game against the Chiefs, it's rookie mistakes, just being out of position, and I think they can get fixed. Really, the only issue right now I have is with our linebackers, and I think with Shaq Thompson in there, that'll be fixed. And Dorian Williams, the way they use Dorian Williams lately has been really smart, but Bernard and Milano, I think right now are the only question marks, which is crazy because going in, I thought they were the strongest unit.
I'll say I think Bernard. There's a problem with Bernard that I think is creeping up that we probably all felt about him before he actually took this job 2 years ago. And that's he's not your typical Mike, you know? Like, I mean, he's really good at attacking the football and things like that. But I mean, he's not amazing in coverage. I think he's okay. He's very undersized. He's not great at the point of attack. Like he gets engulfed by blockers way too often. I just feel like some of his like physical deficiencies are starting to show up on film. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
I can agree with that. It definitely, like the coverage when it comes down to it has always been kind of weak. He dropping back is worse than going forward. Yeah. And that's an issue when he comes to the mic. And you can notice that Cole Bishop, like one thing that drives me crazy about the defense, is that we don't get set on a consistent basis, but there's like 5 to 7 plays a game where we're not fully set and we're over communicating. And I think that's where that becomes an issue is Terrell Bernard is supposed to be that Mike is supposed to communicate, but Cole Bishop identified offense, like the scheme and stuff, and calling man coverage or zone coverage quicker than Terrell Bernard did yesterday. And you could tell that, and then they're trying to do that. So realistically, we should probably take away some communication, just give him his job to do, and then have Cole Bishop be a little bit more of a communicator. Because like that Rashee Rice pass, Cole Bishop flipped to man to get, and Jamarcus Ingram did not check on that man, but Cole Bishop made the right call, and that's where it got affected because there was too much communication in that area, and Jamarcus Ingram didn't catch it. So we need one person talking on a consistent basis, and it might have to be taken away from Terrell Bernard just so he can get his job done and not worry about that.
Yeah, and he's not like usually smaller linebackers are like super elite athletes as well.
Yeah.
The kids helps them compensate, and he's not that. I mean, he's an explosive athlete in some ways, but it's all downhill. There's nothing.
Right.
He's never like you're saying, like when he's backing up into coverage, things like that. Occasionally, like last year, he got an interception in the Chiefs game when he was backpedaling. He's done it in his rookie year as well, or his second year as well.
He did it against the Dolphins earlier in the year.
Yeah, so he does it sometimes. I think he reads
Cut in,
things
though.
okay.
Yeah.
He just has to have a head start on it, I think. And if he gets
Right.
a beat on it and he's mentally like quick enough to compensate for it, he does well. Problem is often I feel like he's a step off, you know. And so some of that's just mental recognition. And like I said, I don't think he's a true Mike. I think we put him there because we had no other options at the time, and we forced him into it because he is a smart guy and he can learn this. He knows the system. But I think ultimately, like ideally, he would have been a good replacement for Milano one day, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ryan has a comment. Thinks his injuries affect him as well. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? That's kind of a ghost injury too. Like I think we're blaming it on that, but I don't know if that's really what it's about anymore.
I think it might be a little bit. He looks a little bit slower because of, I think, all the ankle issues. And then Ryan also commented the linebacker just changing every week. I think that's definitely part of it. When you're playing next to someone new every single week, it's kind of hard. Like, because people have strengths and weaknesses, it's kind of hard to know, all right, he's going to be in this position and that position, and like how people are going to react. So I think that's part of it. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I think right now the two best linebackers, I would run Shaq and Milano until Bernard gets out of something. I think
McDermott feels that way too. You can tell in his tone about Bernard.
Yeah, but not this week though. Anyone who has any injury, just sit them out. Even give Joey Bosa a vet rest game like they do
that's
in the
what
NBA.
I was thinking we should do. Give him a rest, like let him rest.
Right.
Yes, because if he gets injured against the Dolphins, against this Dolphins team, I'm going to be pissed.
He said he was kind of worn down after this past game
because he was old, but he was so happy. I mean, when it came down to it, I think he's
that old though. I mean, he's like 30.
Right, he's 30.
Also,
so he's veteran enough to know how to recover. He knows the recovery process.
This is the perfect game to see what you have out of Solomon, Atlanta, Jackson. Let them play a bunch.
Yeah.
All day.
Or maybe make Bosa active, but then don't really play him unless for some reason the game's close. Like, this shouldn't happen, but like a break glass, the game's close and we need him at the end. You have him like sitting, maybe have him play like 10 to 15% of snaps.
For sure. That's where I'm at.
This comment's good. Let's transition into the trade market. I think we've talked enough about the Chiefs game. I think. Are we good on that?
I guess the only
other than on the offensive side, I kind of like real quick. I kind of like the offense.
Let's talk about the offense real quick.
I feel like this was a perfect get right game for Josh and handling pressure because it's kind of like he had a test with some of the answers, so it let him pre-snap, hike, and go. Like you even saw, like again, just like how I talked about the defense, where it was just like they weren't playing fundamental defense. Same with Josh. You could tell his screen passes were off. Yesterday, screen passes were on, timing right, like really down, really
Layered
good, and
throws.
things layered throws like that. Like it was a
The
get
key-
right
the
game
key
to get
on-
his feet. Yes, his key on check down, right?
Yeah, where he led him perfectly to be able to get the first down.
For sure, right. All that stuff, that small stuff, was not happening in the first half of the season.
Like Knox's throw was a touch throw. I mean, the crosser by Kincaid on the second,
Where the patience,
he had patience. He saw him in the first window, and then he waited for him to come out the second window. When he threw it, he kind of layered it over, and it was like from the all 22 view, like the back view, that's not an easy throw to make. In the game, is like, oh, he's wide open. But from the
Right.
Bolton's
his
coming
angle,
across. Yeah.
his
There was a
angle
set-
was hard.
There was 1 second window, and it was impressive
Yeah.
that he waited for it.
Yeah, and he got
Yeah.
a ton of yak off of it, which is amazing. The throw to Elijah Moore was like pinpoint accurate. I'm glad to see he got involved a little bit since the receivers didn't show up at all again, really. I mean, they're okay. I mean, Shakir did, but it's like an extension of the run game in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's really not catching the ball downfield. It's all
I will say Elijah Moore ran some good routes. I think he had like 4 good routes.
Yeah.
3, all 4 were open, and then he got that one ball. But he
Yeah.
ran decent intermediate routes and sat in zone well.
I think the physicality of the game's hard on him because he's not a big guy. Like, he's considerably smaller than Curtis Samuel when you see them stand next to each other. Like, oh, Samuel's actually a 200-pound man, and Moore's not even close.
I do want to give Joe Brady his credit. I thought this was his best play calling of the year. Outside of that stupid 3rd and 10 screen, I thought he did a great job. I mean, the one throw to Knox, the way he had that wheel set up, got open. He was using Kincaid on crossers to dismantle and corners to dismantle their weaknesses, their linebackers in coverage.
Yep.
My favorite play was that Shakir motion where we had Shakir staying in motion into that crosser. That was beautifully executed. And then I thought he was layering in play action pretty well, using a lot of first down runs to set up second down play action against their linebackers. And then on that final drive, those couple of PA boots, if we didn't just need the first down, if we ran that on second down, I think we would have had a touchdown to Shavers because he had probably 5-10 yards in the guy.
Behind Cook.
Behind Cook.
Yeah,
the dude was absolutely dusted. But because
he's
we
good
just
at those
needed
routes. He's good at those little out routes. When he's playing tight to the line and he goes and does a little out, I mean, that's his route. I mean, he wins on that route all the time. And I mean, I'd love to see it a little bit more, actually, considering Keon doesn't really seem to have any routes that work.
Yeah. I thought Tyrell had a decent game. He won a couple. Yeah, the Cook catch. Shaver won a couple of routes, and I thought he made a couple of nice blocks. And then one little kind of niche thing I saw was he was having Ty Johnson not line up in the backfield, but then not line up as a receiver. He was in like that in between.
Yeah.
He was the same depth. And then you had that where he would go to block or to run a swing, and then he ran the one screen to keep the defense honest. I was watching the Falcons Patriots game earlier in the day, and they were using Bijan a lot in that too. And I thought that was interesting because you can kind of move him around there. Like at the snap, if you want him to just pass block, he can move right over. He can have a swing, a wheel. They ran the screen. I think you can do a lot out of that. I would like to see them do that with Cook too, but I thought that was a cool little wrinkle they added for this game. And I also don't think they showed too much because they ran their basic game. Like that is the Joe Brady offense to a T, and I love it. I think that's the perfect offense for what we have in the room and how Josh plays quarterback is just stay out of 3rd and longs and 3rd and manageables. Trust Josh is going to get it, and when he is on, he gets it every time. And in the playoffs, I trust him to always be on. And
how about tempo too?
Yep. Yeah, I thought they had a nice tempo, so the Chiefs weren't able to make a lot of substitutions. And then one more quick thing. I think not having Palmer in this game was kind of the silver lining is we didn't have to show how we're going to use Palmer against the Chiefs. We got to hide that because he wasn't playing.
And he also pretty well against them.
Or also the wide receiver that we hopefully trade for in the next 24 hours. We didn't have that in the Chiefs game last year. We already had Amari. So these are wrinkles with these wide receivers coming back that we're going to be able to show if we play the Chiefs in the playoffs again that we didn't have the luxury of last year.
So 2 things real quick. So first thing, Stephen Noble, who comments on our stuff a lot. We're about to get into this in a second. I didn't want you to think I wasn't answering your question. Second thing is we have 229 people watching us live and climbing, which is the most we've ever had live, I think. Maybe out of our first show. So I appreciate that, and hopefully we'll continue to rise here. And when we start getting into more of the trade discussion, which is coming up in a minute or two, Brady did really well. Schemes work well when the game script goes according to plan. Agreed. Hopefully we get a lot out. Though, I think that's the key with Brady. If you can stay in phase with with the way the way that the game flow is going, doesn't force us into automatic passing or automatic running downs. Or I should say just automatic passing down, when it's just clear we're going to pass the ball. Brady's fine. until we get to that point. And then I think then's when the wide receiver problem comes into focus, is when we're like down by a score or two, and then like we have to throw the ball. That's when we can kind of get isolated and kind of, stamped out, so to speak. Okay, we're getting ready to get into this too. Bills fan 288-28282. All right, so let's get into this, because I think we've got a rumor that isn't crazy, but it's definitely something that I think we should discuss. And then also kind of the logistics of what's happened with this Taron Johnson restructure that happened today to open up some cap space. I told Randall before the show, and I tweeted about this, if he doesn't make a move, I'm going to be pissed off, because there's no reason to restructure and get all of us excited, right? And then not do anything, because that would tell me that Bean's actively trying to troll us in some way, because he knows that we all want one thing. I mean, it's the truth.
It's true.
It's the truth.
I fully agree. There's no you could do it on Wednesday. If you needed it for something else, you could do it on Wednesday. But doing it the day before, it would be intentional if a move is not made.
Exactly. So I'm assuming he's not doing that to us personally. I think this is something.
Yeah. I think it is definitely something.
Yeah.
I think we end up with the Saints receiver. The Saints only have 5 draft picks. They're at least going to sell one of them, especially with how bad they've looked these last 2 games. Like, at least like a couple weeks prior, they were competitive in some games. I mean, they stayed close with us. They stayed close with New England. The Giants, they beat the Giants, who had just come off a win against Philly. So I thought they were like, oh, let's keep this going. We can be a competitively bad team, and we will keep these players to help build around a quarterback. But these last 2 weeks have looked so bad, they're probably like, all right, we suck. Let's just go full on tank. And it might be a little bit of wishful thinking, but I think it's Olave. I really do. From just what I've seen, I think they're getting more and more willing to trade him. He seems to be getting very frustrated. His dad wants him gone, and seemed like he was happy on Twitter earlier with that tweet
Yes, those
of the
tweets.
praying hands. It's cryptic tweets. We're just trying to read in because we don't know a lot. But from what I've seen, I think our second round pick will get it done. And I think Bean is getting ready to do it. And I think the thing is, we would have been able to afford him without the Tehran restructure. So that makes me think there might be another move, or it's Shaheed, because we're sitting at probably like $3 million cap space. Olave rest of season costs less than $1 million. So that still sets us over 2. So either it's, and I think I'd be pretty surprised if we don't end up with a Saints receiver, because we still can't afford Jacoby Myers. We would have had to make more moves. So I think it's one of those 2. Okay. And if it's Olave, I think it's something else. If it's Shaheed, I think it's probably just Shaheed, and then we just keep the million cap space we have in case we need to make moves down the line, like free agent pickups.
So what are we hearing right now from the source that we have on the trade pack on like what it would cost to get Olave?
It was the source that I had was top. It had to be between pick 50 and 75. No past 50 or no past 75. But obviously earlier than 50. So that's right where our second round pick is.
Mid 2 to
yep, mid to late 2 and then early 3. Yeah. So when it comes, obviously for sure we have that. I don't think that restructuring Taron Johnson means that we're going to make 2 moves. Brandon Bean always needs something in the bank. He always talks about having something in the bank for like any adjustments that he needs to. And yeah, I mean, Olave 749,970 left. That would put us at $2.6 million. There's not an insane amount that we would do. And also, we don't have an insane amount of picks next year. We have the first 5. I think we have an extra 7th. But we still do. Right. We still need to. I would rather you find a second pick with a 7th than use maybe like a 2 and a 5. Because we do still need to beef up what we're going to do with our offensive line, linebacker for sure, or maybe 2, safety, and then work on that. So I do think that with free agency, we don't know what Brandon Bean wants to do in restructuring, even though Bills fans are more or less being like, hey, we can restructure up to $40 million, get it done. That might not be what Bean wants to do when it comes to sustained success and things along those lines. So
my thing is just the way Bean has set up every single contract it's for next year to be like the year. Like all the extensions we have done, everyone has small caps next year. They're all backloaded where their cap all jumps up after next year. So I think that was intentional. It was every single one of them. So I think that's to try and have as much cap space as next year. I'm not saying he's going to mortgage the future. He's not going to go full Rams and trade away every pick. But I think he kind of, just the way the contracts have set up, I think he's in the mindset that this year and next year are the years to kind of push chips towards the middle.
We're still in the negative, though, with a lot of voided contracts in 2026. So we're still starting without any money, and then you have to add to it. So I understand that there were small cap hits, but that's kind of the business of doing a quick rebuild instead of a full rebuild.
Right.
Is now you're still going to have short money probably until the TV deals come in 2027, but 2026 still going to be kind of just restructuring to get who we want. And then you have Bosa and AJ Epineza that won't be on the team anymore and stuff like that. So I still think money management is an issue in 2026.
It's gonna be.
I am not too worried about it, but
I mean, I wouldn't be worried about it. I think we're fine. I just think that Bean has a goal to get out of this kind of cap. We're not in prison. We're in cap jail. Where it's like
we're slowly getting
holding cell.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he's like we're in like a drunk tank. And he doesn't want to have to deal with it anymore. And I agree with him. I think that's what the ultimate goal is. This is why he locked up a lot of guys this year. The Calais Campbell comment here. So I've heard a lot of people after that game talk about D tackle or bringing in somebody can rush from the interior. I know Hoyt's a big loss. I know that Ed Oliver not being back till late in the playoffs probably is also a big loss, but this team has so many three techs. We've invested so much time and energy into that position with Ogunjobi and Deion Walker, and when TJ Sanders comes back, and then Harrison Phillips. I just don't think that's the avenue we should go or they will go. I just don't think it's going to be a situation where they're like, oh, wow, we lost Hoyt. You can't replace Hoyt. That's the thing. You're not going to be able to get a Hoyt-type player unless you go get Trey Hendrickson, right? And I just don't think they're going to do that. And that's not Hendrickson's game either, really, if you think about it. He's just another pure edge rusher. I don't see this being something that they're going to do. And honestly, the D-line looks really good without being full strength right now. Like, it's still a strength in the defense. I just think we're going to get to a situation where, like, we could easily mitigate any loss we have on defense with just a more high firepower on offense at this point, and then let guys like Hancock and these other guys get acclimated, and the defense will improve. And it has improved this year, by the way. It's way better today than it was in week 1, 2, and 3, and 4, So that's how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on that as far as like I wouldn't mind getting both, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they're getting one player, and I think it's going to be a receiver. And I think if they don't get a receiver, the Bills Mafia is going to burn the place down.
I think it's going to be wide receiver. I just think we have in-house replacements for our defensive, I guess, holes per se due to all these injuries. Plus also, I think just Sean McDermott taking over the play calling and getting rid of Taylor Rapp, those two things just kind of transform the defense. I think Babbage is fine for the week-to-week game plan. So it's not all the pressures on McDermott, but McDermott should be the play caller going forward, just like how you mentioned the offensive guys do the same thing. And I think there's defensive guys that do that. Isn't D'Amico Ryans calling for Houston or what's the Seahawks head coach, McDonald?
Mike McDonald.
Yeah,
is he calling plays? Yeah, he's so good.
I have a feeling he should be. I mean, he's so good.
Yeah,
absolutely calling plays. Yeah. There's no way he's not. I mean,
right.
The only coaches that I don't think really call plays there's a few isolated ones like McDermott tried it.
Campbell.
And then you have your special teams guys.
Yeah.
Like Campbell.
Right. John
Harbaugh and Tomlin, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine too. It's just everybody's got a different way to do it. If you have a defensive coach though, like let him call plays. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Matt C6641 here says rumors are they're going to make a push for Olave, a second and a fifth, and Samuel for Can you verify where you heard that from? I'd like to know. Because if that's
for sure.
I would love that trade.
Flip.
Yeah, if you can comment in the comments again and tell us where you heard it from, we'd love to hear that too. Unless it's just like speculation of like what you think the value is. But
I would love that trade because we'd open up more cap space with it.
Yeah, I know. Perfect scenario at that point. I will say from a similar source is that we have done trades with Cleveland. And from what I do know is that there have been some conversations about Shelby Harris from Cleveland. He's behind Malik Collins. If they were to go for defensive tackle, he's available for 7th.
Yeah.
And I would not mind if they wanted an extra body throwing a 7th for somebody like Shelby Harris. He's a great tackler. He's good in run support. I think he only plays about 25% of the snaps. He has 6 pressures, 2 QB hits, so he can get to the quarterback. It would just be an easy body for a late pick.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's
do
a good
it.
one. Yeah, I do that as well. Yeah, I think that so I'm assuming that Bean's going to do something because he restructured, okay? Just assume for a second.
Yes.
If he did do that and he's restructured, the deal's already done, everybody. Like there's something's already in the works. It's been done, just hasn't been reported. Like the Cowboys, Jerry Jones made a deal. He says it's already done. It's not being reported. He could be trolling
Keon
everybody.
for Pickens.
It's for an immediate impact person.
Dude, I'll say this about Keon.
Obviously.
I would not be opposed to Keon being part of a deal, and I think it's more and more like the new NFL, more guys are getting traded before they even hit their 3rd year sometimes based on just not what we thought they were. And why not? I think it's a good thing. And because of the kind of the structure of college football now too, is kind of bled into NFL a little bit, where players, when things don't go well, they immediately want to go somewhere else, right?
Right.
And I think some of that pressure is mounting up on some owners, and they're like, well, if that's what's happening, then we might as well take advantage of it because we would love to trade guys before they're top cheap players that maybe get some value. I think Keon could be part of the deal. I thought Keon did a really good job of his job yesterday. Like he wasn't asked to do anything, but he was asked to be blocked. Thought he was solid in the blocking game.
He created a DPI.
Yep.
DPI.
Had that holding call that got declined too.
Yep.
And then had the 2 catches.
We just got to start realizing he is what he is. I don't think any of this is ever going to change. This is my thing. This has been my thing with scouting. When I look and scout players, the one thing I really like, people talk about age and like development and things like that. But I think there's certain things you can't overcome as a player, right? Like Keon's never going to have a different skill set than he currently holds. He might get better at that one skill set, but how valuable is that skill set, right? And that skill set's not that valuable in the NFL anymore.
It's not that valuable in the NFL, but
As
it
a
can be
primary
valuable.
target.
But we weren't looking for a primary target.
Bro, second round pick.
Yeah, we traded back and got a third.
Target.
Yeah, but I mean, remember, I know that we fully missed Lad McConkey, but like Jalen Polk was in that area too. Like it's not an immediate hit where he was drafted at, Xavier Legette and things. I do agree with you. The issue is that Keon has not improved in his skill set, and you even saw it in the route running in Kansas City Chiefs.
I think
there was a route where he was pulling it in, and his stem work was elementary, and it was rough to see. And it's just like
than it was last year, though. I just think he has so far to go. It's just probably unlikely.
It's too far.
It's too far.
Yeah.
I think he's better than last year. I just don't think it matters.
That's where the second round pick comes in. I do believe that if you're drafting him in the second round, he should be able to take a bigger leap from year to 1 year too, without a doubt. The expectation there, and that's where the concern gets in, where his what his work ethic is, showing up late. Is Keon Coleman himself hindering his ability, and that's a real argument to be made.
So his hands lack consistency. His route running was a 3 out of 10, probably, maybe less, coming out of college.
How do you not handle physicality in his size?
He doesn't handle physicality well, and he's big and strong, right? Or muscular, strong. He may show muscle. And he's not good at 50-50 balls, and that's what he's supposed to be here for, is to catch 50-50 balls. And he's got such a long way to go to even the things that he maybe could be in the NFL. Like this T. Higgins light comparison he got early, I jumped into that because I want him to be T. Higgins, but he's clearly not, Higgins is just way more fluid of an athlete. He just moves better in the football field. He's able to be elusive in his routes, and his stem works better and everything. And he just jump balls are better. Everything's better,
Yep.
So yeah, and I think that's kind of the issue. And I would love for him to be part of the package. So again, we have 300 people watching, by the way, live. So thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. And I don't see him. I mean, when we drafted him, I was kind of like trying to convince myself that he was higher on my board than he was,
Well, the offseason kind of threw us for a loop too, because he was burning Trey White.
Yeah, everyone did.
We got so jacked up about it.
Yeah, and he was like wide receiver 14 for me or something like that. And I was like, well, maybe he's wide receiver 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me,
That's called bargaining in the the seven
and then
layers.
bargaining
Yeah.
myself, and it's like, oh well, wait a second. The wide receiver 5 to 11 are all kind of the same. They just have different skill sets. Like that's what I was telling
That's
myself.
typically how it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
In the
then
deep wide receiver
Ladd's who
class,
I
yeah.
always really wanted, and then Worthy was second for me. And
Yeah.
now I'm glad we don't have Worthy either. And Jalen Royals being a healthy scratch every week. I wanted him instead of Deion Walker. I was wrong. I'm super happy we got Deion Walker instead because I think he's just been great.
Yeah.
He's been awesome.
He's that guy.
He's the best D
He's that
tackle
guy.
from that draft so far in this class. I mean, I
All
don't
day.
think it's much debate. Look,
All
Kenneth
day.
Yeah.
Graham isn't doing anything. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Walter Nolan's having a good game today, but
Yeah.
he hasn't.
He's
played all
he's
year.
pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Walker's been throwing
Better
in.
than Tyleek Williams, even though Tyleek Williams is coming into his own, but Deion Walker jumped in quick.
And before we get into Ryan's, we will answer your question, Ryan. Hold on real quick. This is actually really good. Keon's N'Keal Harry, Regan, when we should give it. Okay. Yeah, but I agree. The N'Keal Harry, although I'd say N'Keal Harry and him are a little different in stylistically.
But a little. It's a good call.
It's a good call of like the same problems that persisted with him that made him go high in the draft, the same problems that Keon has. It's always like this, like, we want you to be something.
Yeah.
And we can see it in the highlight reel. Like the highlight reel looks great. Like it makes me worry that Bean just watches freaking highlights of players and goes, look at that. Like,
Yeah. No.
Josh saw the one-handed catch against LSU, like
Treylon Burks.
yeah.
Treylon Burks like that. Yeah.
But yeah, like
I mean, I'm an Arkansas fan. So.
yeah, I know.
I know
what's
choice.
the other guy's name? We had him. Chanel, not Chanel.
Laviska Shenault.
Laviska Shenault. Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing. People are telling me
Visca.
he was great, he could separate, and I'm like, I don't see separation. I just see a guy who's just kind of running, like he's catching balls down the field, but I don't see like separation skills with his route running, and it's proven to be true. Okay, so Ryan wants us all three, if we can call it right now. Who's the player the Bills want to trade for by 4 p.m.? Who do we trade for?
Who is?
Yeah, who is the player we trade for? Don't go
Chris
first.
Olave.
Man, I think it's Chris Olave. I think now that the talks, at the point when we were talking about Chris Olave, they shut it down, and I thought that might have been accurate, but I do think that the Saints are now almost like the episode of The Office where both of the guys that were selling the Girl Scout cookies said we don't want to do it anymore, and then Kevin was like, no, like one of you, like please. Now they kind of have to beg because when they only have 5 picks, they should look for the higher pick than it is getting rid of Shaheed. Shaheed, you're probably going to get a 4th or a 5th for, while Olave, you're getting a 2nd. You have to give in to the 2nd round than getting a 4th or a 5th because you have to rebuild more.
Both.
I would trade both too.
I threw 2 and a 4. I threw 2 and 4 at him.
I would do both as well, and then just go in the wide receiver pool in the rookies and have a rookie. Throw in Keon. I mean, he's a rookie. He has 2 more years on a rookie contract. Like that's cheap that you can work with Tyler Shuck and see what he can do with him.
So my rationale's the same.
Yeah,
It's like,
2, 4, and Keon for both.
see, I thought it would be.
And then ship Samuel off to get rid of that cap. I'd be into that.
I don't think I think they might ship a receiver just because we have 6 already.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't think they're going to get rid of Shavers. I think they like Shavers' role.
Because his role is there as a sit.
And Moore at least can
perfect.
stay healthy versus Samuel who can't stay healthy. So I think they'd
Exactly.
rather try and rely on Moore to be able to stay healthy. So I think Samuel is the odd man out.
I think it's
because
Keon.
I think
the
you're
most
right.
cap.
Keon's a
It
blocker.
could be either. But if
The
this
price
is if I'm
point,
saying in this
hell.
hypothetical where we trade for both Shaheed and Olave, like
So-
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I
It's
don't think it
fake.
is.
It's
I
Yeah.
thought Olave.
This dream scenario.
They need Keon as a blocker because Curtis is not as good as a blocker. If you have
Yeah.
Shaheed and Olave, you need Keon for blocking.
I
I
think
also don't think they want to
Olave.
fully give up on Keon yet.
I thought Olave was done originally, just because I thought it was not going to happen because of the price, not just the price point, but Bean typically chases the B+ guy, not the A+ guy, or he uses the A+ guy to negotiate down the price of the B+ guy, and I could still be right. Who knows? Maybe he goes and gets Shaheed. But what I would say is I changed my mind on it recently because I think there's 2 things going on here. I think he wants to prevent Olave, the best receiver in the market, from going to a competitor like the Patriots, okay, who've been in the market for receivers as well. And I also think that at the end of the day, after the Chiefs game especially, I do feel like he's like, okay, the Chiefs were everybody was talking about the Chiefs being the best team in the league, and we just beat the brakes off them. We could have been that game could have been 42-13 if it wasn't
Sure.
4th and 17 play, or 21 play.
Yeah.
So I think he's looking at it from perspective of like, let's just go all in. He's cheap. Like he's a $700,000 player this year, and if we re-sign him, great. If we don't, we got him for a rental. If we win a Super Bowl, who gives a damn? You know, like even if you can't re-sign him after this year, like who cares? Like if we win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter, and we'll just go draft a receiver at that point, right? And we'll get our 2nd round picks back somehow. We'll figure it out, you know. And I think that's kind of where they are now. If I had to do it, so I would bet on Olave. Last week I would have told you Myers, but the amount of cap he opened up just now doesn't tell me Myers. It tells me Olave or CP based on
that's exactly my thought process.
We need $2 more million for Myers.
Yeah,
and then we need
to do it. But
we really need like 3 or 4 more million because Bean always wants to have 1 or 2 mil in the bank.
Right.
And we're always off with this cap. So, like spot rack is not always right.
They have a new trade feature.
Yeah,
so it's actually accurate, which is great.
Well, I'm talking about the cap number itself. They're usually like over the cap and spot track are always off. They're never with each other. So there's some discrepancy here on like what's the truth of how much is there. So we could be a million up or down somewhere and just not know like really where we're at. You know.
I wish the NFL had to report it because I wish there was.
I know.
Number.
Would it be easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
like the NHL has a really good one with it. They got money why I can't think of it. I use it all the time to look at like the Sabres, and it's like super accurate, and it tells like all the stuff. And I wish the NFL had one like that.
Are they keeping that? I heard that NHL was trying to shut that down.
I think it was a different one, but the one I've been using, they think there was one that was getting talked about and shut down last off season, but I used it like a couple days ago.
So no one wants Samuel's contract. I kind of agree with that. That's why I think maybe more is more a possibility there.
You can cut. You can cut Samuel. I mean, you're basically having for a half a year for whatever that cost is, and then you cut him clean.
Ryan on the 5th-year option thing. So here's the problem with the 5th-year option is that it's locked into how much money you have to pay the guy. It's based on the average of the top 15. Is that what it is now?
Yeah, top 15.
Wide receiver contract. So because of that, it's rather expensive for a receiver to 5th-year option them and not restructure a deal and kick the money down the road by having or not restructure a deal, but not sign them to a long-term deal. So you can, once you extend it to a 5-year deal, and even if it's $30 million a year, the first couple of years, they don't make that much. So if you're going to do the 5th-year option, we might as well sign them long-term. That's kind of how I 5th-year options like franchise tagging a guy, but a little cheaper. And that franchise tag difference is like you can't restructure out of that money when they're in that contract until you sign them to a new deal. The cap hit is massively large, and that's probably the worst thing we could do for our cap next year. Like the 2 options to me are half a year this year, cut them or let them walk, or we do the we just re-sign him to
I'd give him like I'd give him like 3 years,
18,
3 years, 80 total. No, like 3 years, like 75 with like only like 35 mil guaranteed.
25 million total, right? And you restructure it in a way that it makes it so you're not getting hit much at all.
If the the guarantees where if the concussions come up, we don't get too screwed over.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. That's a possibility because that ends up making his cap hit just a shade over Shakir.
If he didn't have the concussion issues, I think he's legit worth 30 mil. I think he's that good of a receiver. I think he's shown it with awful quarterback play, how good he could be. I think he's worth a $28 to $30 million contract. The concussions, though, is what brings it down. Or 25 and low guarantees, and
so even
then there's chance to work it out and give him another extension, something like that.
So even if it's a half a year, I'd give up a 2nd round pick for a half a year Olave if it makes us win. For sure. I give up first 100 to get if you can.
I give up all of our picks for the next 20 years to get a Super Bowl.
That's true too.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
all day.
20 years.
If it locked in a Super, I don't care. I need one.
That would make the April sucky for me. I love the draft, and I would.
Oh, me too. I love the draft, but I love the Super Bowl way more.
Of course.
So
there's not ever on the cards that's going to happen, but I agree. I think we would all trade that.
Yeah.
Quickly to Ryan's comment, just to make sure that we are all on the same page, is Saints already did exercise their 5th-year option, so we would have to carry that over. So 16.24 million
We
through
would extend
2026. So we
we'd
would
extend
have to extend him, really.
because we can't just run him on a 5th-year option. I'm telling you, that
Exactly.
5th-year option's probably
It's
17
16.24.
million. Okay,
16.24.
17. Yep, close enough.
Yeah.
So like that's
Right.
$16 million for 1 year that we can't structure differently. On the
Right.
cap.
So
It
we would have to extend him with if we trade for him.
Yep, and then we can incorporate that into the
Good
deal,
point, Ryan.
take it down the road, and then we're ready to roll. So I think we'd just extend him at that point. We get him in on. He'd probably just be happy to be out of New Orleans. He's played at Ohio
Yeah.
State.
You know his dad.
So
You know his dad will be happy.
Yeah. He's used to cold weather already. He's not like he's coming here like I need to play in a dome kind of guy. Like he is going to play here. And then next year, with a concussion situation, we'll be on grass. So it's much less chance to get concussion on grass than it is on hard turf, like in Buffalo too. So
good point.
The new stadium's coming along.
yeah, it looks awesome from the pictures I saw. I know you're there every day. All right, any other potentials as far as like, do you think there's an opportunity to get 2 guys? I know we've kind of run through like our course of like,
I mean,
you know,
Tavondre Sweat's
Steelers.
really fallen out of favor from Tennessee.
Simmons. Simmons, I heard today, is actually not wanting to be moved. He said-
Yeah, I think Simmons is probably just like all the other top defensive linemen. They're fine with sucking as long as they get their money.
Make money. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he's not they're impacting the game in one specific way. As long as they're making their cash in a place they like to live, a lot of times these guys are
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised that Myles Garrett is like, yeah, I'd like to live in Cleveland. I mean, I'm from Buffalo, so like if we suck, I would feel the same way. Yeah, I know, but like it's not a great place to live. Like, not a wonderful place. I mean, I'm from Buffalo. I could talk about it because I experienced the weather.
Like, you're toting a fine line right now, Miley. Okay.
Yeah, Buffalo has the weather just as bad. I know how bad it is.
Yeah.
I have to deal with it.
Buffalo's an old town, but so
I
is
love
Cleveland.
living here.
For
I
sure.
love living here, but like as a player who didn't grow up in the area, it's like I love it because it's my hometown. Like,
Yeah,
but if I moved here, I wouldn't be like, oh, I just want to live here and deal with this weather year round. So much fun. I want to play football in 20 and snow.
I live in a city that's very similar in size to Buffalo in Richmond, Virginia, and we don't have weather like you. And it would be really hard to live here if the weather was like there.
I
live
miss
like
it.
And we don't
I
have
live
sports
like
teams.
outside of the city. So like I would never want to live in a city. But I live close enough where I can get there pretty
Ultimately,
easily.
Buffalo's a fun city. They're like the downtown's really nice compared
Yeah.
to a lot of cities that you go to. I don't like Cleveland's downtown at all. I mean, it's a bigger
I-
skyline, but I don't care about
I
that.
had fun when I went down there like 2 months ago. I'll be going back. So I'm going down to the Bills and Browns game.
All right, so
I had fun there.
All right, I have a
So
question
you-
since now we're like looking at trade options.
yeah,
Do you think because we're so defensive heavy and it would fit our cap, is that somebody, since Hoyt just went down, somebody like Boy Mafe?
yeah. I mean, you think, yeah.
He's got
What's his cap?
$936,000.
Yeah. Well, how many was it? Even his last year of his deal? Well,
Yep.
this rookie.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, what's it cost, and do you think it actually moves the needle in the same way that Hoyt would? The thing with Michael Hoyt that people, I think that's missed is, it's really hard to replicate his
tenacity.
size, speed. Like he's an elite athlete, first of all,
Yeah.
and he's a thick dude. Like he's built wide, right? And he's fast, super duper athlete, and he's super intelligent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like there's a guy like he just melds all these things together. Like I honestly would, if he didn't get hurt and Bean next year was like, we're letting Bosa roll, but Hoyt's the new Bosa, I'd be like, that's fine. Like I'd feel fine with that. I
Me too.
can do it. You know,
I still want Bosa back though, man.
Yeah.
If Bosa has a full clean year,
and I think we can get him next year for a decent deal. I don't think he's
For sure.
I think he's outside of that window of his Miles Garrett contract stuff.
I also think he enjoys playing here.
I do too. I think
Like how we talked about in the preseason, how like this is more connected. He's ever felt with the team,
Yep.
more connected. Felt
He
all that. I
knows
think
where
I think he just enjoys it here, and he knows he can win here because we have
and
Josh Allen.
he knows
and
his
getting back
injury
to the
problems.
4-3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he just loves playing in a 4-3 too.
Yeah. And I think he knows that he's on the back end of his prime, right?
Mhm.
Like this year, if he gets 10 sacks, I'd be pretty happy with that. He's at 3 or 4 right now.
or
4. So like I'd be pretty happy if he got to 10. And that would not scream to me $30 million, $40 million defensive
No.
end. That screams to me 17, 18, $19 million defensive
For
end.
sure.
Like a
For
3-year
sure.
deal, you know?
Yep.
Like maybe 3 for 58 and
with low
26
guarantees.
guaranteed
Yep.
or 22
Right.
guaranteed or something. You know, like
With
just
it being like the last year is kind of just like a big cap, a cut year because
yeah, it's an even up year, so you cut them. It's like it's a push, you know,
like we do with almost every single contract we have.
Yeah, exactly, which is the smart way to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
So Steven says from YouTube, I'd be fine with Rashid Shaheed. I don't know if that's spelling properly. And Carl Granderson in a package deal. I'd love that too. I just don't, and that might be something that they're entertaining.
It costs 3.3 mil is what Steve is also saying.
Total.
So it'll be a little tight on the cap.
remaining.
So I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but again, we'd also get a little bit of cap by whatever receiver we get let go. Because we're not going to keep 7. That kind of offsets it some.
Yeah, I do wonder if Bean wants to eat up all of that cap, but I mean, the flip side is he can restructure dudes anytime he wants to.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what's the point of carrying a open number of like a certain amount of dollars when you don't actually like you could get it whenever you want?
Yeah, he always just talks about it though. So it's he's always doing it. So regardless of how we feel, he needs it.
Like 350
makes
people
him sleep better at night.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 350 people are watching live. We're gonna mold into preview for Dolphins next week. Let's just go over this, relatively quick. But I mean, I think we all know what's happening in Miami.
35-10.
The odds are that we're gonna be better by Sunday, and the odds are they're gonna be much worse by Sunday because they're having a fire sale as well. They just lost Dylan Phillips. I've heard Bradley Chubb's on the market. I've heard Minka's on there. I've heard Rasul Douglas today.
They finally are trying to move off their 31-year-old corner. Wow.
Yeah. And he's had a good year for them.
Hey, respect Rasul.
No, it's more so like I remember I
kidding.
saw a list of like 5 players they didn't want to trade, and Rasul was on there, and it was like, why? No. Not that he's a bad player.
There's
but like,
no DBs there. They're like,
why would
we got to keep our one?
We're gonna keep the one guy that can play.
I would want to. If I'm like, especially the new GM, that's probably what it is. It's the new GM is like, my job's safe at least for the time being. Let me fire sale.
Jalen Waddle too. I don't think he's up. I think that he's not really on the block.
It'd be funny if the interim GM's like, screw it, I'm trading everyone. Trades Achane.
Yeah. Well,
trades Waddle, trades their offensive line.
This week they basically fired Greer, and then the owner basically said that McDaniel's safe, and Tua is technically playing for his job.
Yeah.
So that tells you where their allegiance goes. If I was McDaniel, I would have walked into Greer's office a couple weeks ago and gone, "Hey, look, I took on Tua. He wasn't good. I turned a guy who can't move, gets injured all the time, and has one of the weakest arms in the NFL. And I made him a Pro Bowler and led the league in passing yards, and another year where he led the league in completion percentage. I did everything I could with him. He's clearly not enough. Let me get my own guy, and I'll show you what I can do with a guy that actually has physical skills." And
I would do that.
This upcoming quarterback class doesn't have a lot of physically toolsy guys.
Yeah, well, they don't, but there's a guy. They're all over Tua.
McDaniels needs a pocket passer. Fernando Mendoza is surgical in the pocket, and then
Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson would be the same.
Exactly the same way. And I think that you gotta if I was Ross at that point, and I had a coach come to me and say that to me, I'd start thinking, going, you know what? I know we had some issues here, but he's kind of right. And 2, if you were the coach in that situation that they have there, we would probably all be kind of downtrodden too, if you think about it. Like, think about how psychologically, mentally you would be in a situation that was that contentious all the time, because it is pretty contentious there. It's not a good environment for someone to be able to flourish as a coach. They're constantly questioning him about his leadership and all this other stuff. And all he's ever done was turn out high-ranking offenses with low-end talent, other than Tyreek and Jalen
Waddle.
Yeah, I mean they did have a good roster, but the system that he built is modern and it works. so he can get it done. I mean, I had aspirations for him coming as an OC once Joe Brady's gone. I think he would transition so well as Buffalo's OC, to be honest with you.
I don't
But
know. Do you think he'd work well in that kind of scheme? I mean, here's the
Well,
question.
he'd change up the scheme.
Yeah, is the scheme
Yeah.
is this his scheme, or is this scheme the one he's using because he has no other option because Tua is limited? And I don't know the answer to that question because he's from San Francisco.
That's a positive in Mike McDaniel, to be honest with you, is what he was able to build in a limited quarterback. Then he's a smart guy, so having somebody like Josh Allen, I'm sure he would not impose his exact scheme on him, but open it up and improv it out. But that's not happening anyways.
And what do you do with a team that his offense is kind of predicated on good wide receiver play, right? Tight end play is not really heavy in his offensive scheme, never has been.
But the short and intermediate is stellar.
Yeah, but we have receivers that do those things and get open and like that. I don't know. I have my questions whether I know everybody likes them, but
the thing is, if we added Mike McDaniel, we probably go and get some speed receivers in the offseason.
I think
Fair point.
McDaniel would be perfect for a brand new quarterback who needs to learn a system that generates easy button throws and gets guys in space and lets them do yak and get down the field a little bit. And I just think he'd be great in those scenarios. I just wonder with a guy like Josh Allen, who's going to be converting his game here shortly. Trust me. This is not going to be the running Josh Allen we've seen. It's already starting to change.
You can tell there's a quarter step lost in his rushing for sure.
I don't care about that. That's fine.
No, absolutely
I'll tell you this. All right, so the Josh Allen missing the step thing, I think you're probably right. Is not even a half, probably a quarter step miss.
Quarter step, yeah.
The majority of the problem now with his running is that the design runs aren't being schemed up at the right times. And B, when he tries to take off and run now, it's a lot like the Jets game. Was it the Jets game where he jumped and hurdled the guy to get upfield? Remember, he scooted out of the pocket and then kind of leaped over a guy who was already.
The Jets.
The little hop.
So that's the best microcosm of what's wrong with the way he's running. It's not because of him. It's a lot of it's just because the line is kind of converging strangely this year. I don't know what it is. Like he's not able to like kind of spin out and get around the edge as much as he used to in the past. Like he did in this game pretty well. Like it felt like old Josh Allen. But there's a lot of like it feels muddier in the pocket this year than it has in past, and I think that's part of why he's not running as well. It's not just a half quarter step loss. I don't think that plays into it as much as we're making it out to be. I should say.
No, yeah, I think you can just tell that he's aging a little bit, but I think that's credit to defenses as well. If defenses are now like just how we're handling Mahomes, is we're compressing that pocket and not letting him go. They're doing it as well. That 4th and 2 where Shakir dropped that ball, there was a triple spy. Yeah. 3 guys were spying Josh Allen at that point.
And that's what the teams are hedging on it, right? That's the other thing. It's like it's not just the way I think that the reason that we're having some issues is because they're spying us kind of like we did Mahomes in this game. We get I call it like a sneaky spy. Like you couldn't really see where he was or he's going because he's kind of hiding spots and things like that. Dorian Williams did a really good job.
You can show a hole, then close it.
And then close it really quick. Yeah, exactly. So I think that a lot of it has to do with that too. So, but I think it's changing, right? Teams are playing a little differently. I think Allen's passing the ball. The one good thing that's come out of this lack of receivers is I do think that Allen is smarter and passing the ball with more accuracy than he's ever has in his life. Like,
this is, I think, his best completion percentage. If you look at his numbers, compared to last year, through 8 games through this year, his numbers have actually been better this year.
Other than the 4 interceptions. But honestly, 4 interceptions in 8 games is not that bad.
Not at all.
Yeah, well,
I'll take an interception every other game. Like, who cares?
Well, I think he had like 2 at this point through 8 games last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he threw the first one against Seattle, which was what week.
Yeah, I think it was like 1 or 2.
Game, and then he threw one the next week. I think, I think like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it wasn't much. But honestly, I don't like the interceptions being at 6 last year. I think that's a lot of the reason he won MVP. Is just such a change from the norm. But I don't care about leading the league in lack of interceptions as long as he's not throwing 12 plus in a year.
Yeah,
if he's giving me 1, 2 every 3 games, I don't love that. But also like 1 every 3 be great, or every other game that's fine. You know,
or 0, just never throw him ever. Just never throw an interception ever again.
If you're throwing,
good call.
If you're throwing a couple of touchdowns a game, it really is kind of probably more insignificant. Yeah. But his accuracy has been better than ever. his 2020 year, I think he was his best year at 69%. And I think a lot of the reason that was because we just had an elite wide receiver core. That was prime Diggs.
Yeah.
John Brown was still kind of in the back end of his prime. Beasley was in his prime.
Beasley.
And Knox had just shown up.
For sure.
And then our running game was whatever. But like no one knew what to do with it because we kind of caught people by surprise.
It was Josh's first breakout year, so defense.
Yes, no one really knew what to do with him. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember watching that
Miley,
Seahawks game.
Huh? Yeah.
2024.
Oh, that was when I knew. The Seahawks game was like, oh, this is a good team, and they're in our house. Man, I don't know how I feel about it because Seahawks would run up points back then with Russell Wilson. He was still in his prime.
For sure.
Oh yeah, in 2020, yeah. And
2020, yeah.
Oh my God,
the Rams game too. The Rams.
Oh
game
yeah, and where he stiff armed Aaron Donald and smiled.
Yeah,
crazy.
Like, this dude's a maniac. All right, this dude's a maniac.
Yeah, he threw that in that touchdown he threw to John Brown at the end of the Dolphins game too. That was kind of a I'm here moment. I thought.
With that Monday night against the Niners.
Yeah. And then the Niners game later in the year. Yeah, exactly.
That might have been the best passing performance I've ever seen. Just pure like precision. He was hitting like the craziest windows in that Niners game. He could not miss.
That was a throw where he threw it and it went right over Wagner's hand.
Yeah. It went over like three lines. It went through like three players right to the wide receiver.
Yeah, that was
I truly believe that is why the 49ers and Shanahan moved up for Trey Lance. Because after that game, Shanahan was like, well, when you have a quarterback that can do it all like that, like he was very envious, then the next year they traded up for Trey Lance. And I swear it was that game.
I think part of it was that I think that's what convinced them that it would be okay.
Yeah.
But this is what I actually think happened in that. I think that he was pressured. I think he wanted Mac Jones. And I think that people were like, why do you want Mac Jones? And I think with Shanahan and clearly like Mac Jones just fit clearly. Look at him now.
Quarterback class just ends up sucking.
Yeah, he fits their system really well, but he didn't have any of the physical tools. And they were like, dude, you're crazy. Why wouldn't you take Trey Lance? Why do you want Mac Jones, the most underwhelming physically quarterback in this whole draft? And I think he felt like he had to do it.
I don't know. I disagree. I think that they collectively wanted Trey Lance. I think that there was too much hype on Trey Lance, and I don't know why that happened. It was crazy. Just because he threw 0 interceptions, and then there was like the COVID year, and it was so insane where his stats were. And FCS, it was insane to think about that he was going top 5. But I just remember Shanahan being so envious of Josh Allen throughout that year that I think that he definitely influenced it.
I think the one underrated, non-talked about aspect of Josh Allen's game, while he took that leap while these physically gifted quarterbacks don't, it is the mental aspect. Yeah. His ability to make hot routes and checks and just read the defense right from the line. Yeah. I think a lot of these big talented guys, like Anthony Richardson, has all the tools in the world, but like he just doesn't read the defense very well. And his accuracy too, but like Josh is able to fix his accuracy, which doesn't always happen crazy, but he's not a super accurate quarterback. He's he's not like inaccurate at this point, but he's like an average. Top half, but he's not like a pocket pass going to sit there and just surgically down the field constantly.
I think
that's just not his game. But he is mentally he's one of the smartest QBs in football. Yeah, which people are like, oh, but all the interceptions, he's stupid. That's not because he's stupid. It's because he's arrogant sometimes. Yeah. He thinks he can make any throw in the world because
his Wonder Lick was elite. Did you see it? His Wonder Lick was elite.
Yeah, it was.
The other thing is, I think with Allen, the one thing he has to that he's gotten out of his game that he didn't in the past years. And last year he got it out of his game too, I think. But you could tell in certain times he would get the deer in headlights kind of stressed look on his face of like he knows what's going on, but he's emotionally not prepared for moments, right? I think the time that's passed has gotten him completely off of that, which is great. But I think in times 2020, 2021, he gets snapped out of it a little bit after the 13 seconds game. I think that that game molded his brain in a way. And after that, I think he leaped into I don't feel like this is too big for me anymore. I think after that game is when that happened. I mean, even 2020, he looked like a deer in headlights in the AFC Championship game. I didn't think we would win the game only because he clearly was not ready for the moment, and the team wasn't either. And a lot of that is emotional, kind of like having to be able to gather your emotions. And in big time, like even in high school sports, I mean, when I played big games, I mean, you're a 17, 18-year-old, 16-year-old kid, whatever. It's stressful, man.
Oh, I remember.
Allen's he's 30, almost 30 now. But I mean, when he was 24 and just elevating, like he's a kid, man. I mean, no
yeah,
offense,
millions and millions of eyes on you.
no offense,
For
Milo.
sure.
I know you're like 24, but
22.
yeah, I'm sure you're younger than that.
Whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's tough, man. When you're that age, it takes a little bit of wear and tear on your brain, like some of that, battle scars to kind of mold you into that. Not many guys are like Mahomes and Brady, where they're just ready for the moment right when they walk in. Like that's why Mahomes and Brady were good, not because of the physical skills or even the mental processing. It's just they rise to challenges when it's in their face. Lamar still struggles with this. You can tell when he's in a big game. You can tell he gets tight. He even admitted he gets tight. You know what I mean? And I think Allen's finally out of that. I think that's why we have a good potential for this season, even with kind of some of the deficiencies, as long as we can kind of clean up and get another weapon. So,
Yep.
All right, guys. You got anything else for us tonight? You want
Let's see.
Go Bills.
Tracy Wolfson thinks it's defensive line.
for Buffalo?
Yes. But that doesn't,
What is Tracy?
Yeah, I
Wolf
mean,
know?
if it is defensive line, I'm going to be a little upset just because we have in-house replacements, and I think we're deeper at defensive line, even with these injuries, than we are at wide receiver.
Absolutely.
I think wide receiver is currently our
I
worst
agree.
position group.
Saquon's
I agree.
Maybe safety if you want to incorporate Kincaid in with the wide receivers because that's basically what he is. But I would still say a wide receiver group. It's looked worse. There's a safety group with Bishop's ascension and how at least Hancock and Poyer are manageable. They're not a black hole.
Yeah, mark my words. If we don't get a receiver, we're gonna regret it. And the second piece, even Whittle, who's like never wants a wide receiver, right? I mean, he criticizes people who don't want wide receivers on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I got in a big argument over Terry McLaurin in the offseason with him.
Even he said it on Twitter yesterday in our live Do Champions chat. He said the receivers aren't separating. Like when he says it, it's a big deal because he didn't think it was a problem beforehand. So it's clearly an issue. Kincaid, what if Kincaid gets hurt again? We're just gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna fall apart now. I mean, like that's what it feels like.
That's what Brandon Beane needs to know is that an injury away gets us out of the Super Bowl. Like right now, our offense needs to be a perfect storm to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Don't let it be a perfect storm. Have backups. Have chess moves that you can have. That's what needs to be the mindset.
Yeah.
And the defense is different because it's been a shitstorm all year, and it's actually been playing pretty good lately.
Yeah, when you're starting, I mean, Palmer, I think is a great addition, but
good quality wide receiver.
Not healthy. He hasn't been healthy all year either. He's been playing hurt, and then when he's in, he gets hurt again. You can't depend on him. Pretty soon we'll be in the AFC. Yeah. We'll be in
Is this Curtis Samuel's second game or first game played in a row?
I don't know. I did
forget. Is he gonna break the record of 3 games in a row?
Yeah. Pretty soon we'll be starting the AFC Championship game. Our starting receivers are going to be Elijah Moore and Tyrell Shea.
Gabe Davis. Gabe
Davis. And Spencer Hawes is going to be our
Jackson Hawes.
Jackson Hawes. I said Spencer Hawes is basketball. Jackson Hawes is going to be the starting tight end in the game. Watch what happens. Because the injuries.
And then Josh Shields still going to somehow throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then he's going to have 3 touchdowns.
You have to rush for 2.
He's rushing he'll 2 tush pushes and they'll criticize him for not being good at football.
Right.
So, and by the way, we don't just the last piece. We don't do the tush push here. It's the sleigh.
We do the snow plow.
Snow plow, right?
Well,
it is slightly different than what the Eagles do. The Eagles
we go left.
They're upset. We go left, but also we go left every time, which is not good. But when we do it,
Kansas City almost stopped it. Luckily, we only need to get half a yard.
There's also a huge difference between what our line is doing. That's a part of the danger of the position, right? Like when they're doing it, they're cutting head. Yeah, they're down and their heads down. We're just pushing, and then also Allen's running pretty straight up the whole time.
Yeah,
where
it's like
Reggie going down. It's a
Reggie Bush at the goal line versus USC, right?
Yeah, it's basically, and he's basically
lift up and go.
It's basically what that is, right? And he's not taking shots to the head when he's doing it. It's basically a true quarterback sneak, although everyone's kind of working together doing it. Where the Eagles is very specifically different. You know what I mean? And I've heard a lot of Eagles fans today talking about how we're hypocrites for wanting to get rid of it, and Allen gets to do it. No one criticizes Allen, but we all criticize her. But it's not. That's not what this is about. It's just they are technically different plays that's being done right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my soapbox about it. 'cause
And
I've
we
heard
also
it
don't we don't false start in illegal formation every time.
every single time because we're actually running. Like the blocking that we're doing isn't just dive at people low. It's, they're actually trying to push the pile, and we have a line that can do that kind of thing. It's great. I mean, I love that we have we have a power,
And we have the quarterback that's just
it's a
Josh
beast.
Allen.
He's a big monster. Exactly. So, all right, guys. We will see you next Monday. Oh, score prediction real quick.
35-10.
Dolphins or Bills?
Really? Really? Yeah, the Dolphins. No, the Bills.
What about you, Randall?
I
That
mean,
was
that's a
closer
really
than you think against
that's a really
Miami.
good- division in Miami.
1
It's gonna
o'clock.
be like-
They
It's gonna be,
actually,
it's gonna be
funny
like
enough,
85.
their
It's gonna be like
offense-
85 and muggy because
The
there's storms in the
Dolphins'
area.
Yeah.
The Dolphins' offense,
good
actually, if
for
you
us,
look at it, plays worse at home against us than they do.
They do.
They usually play better in Buffalo, oddly enough. Tua's best games against the Bills have been
It
in
was
Buffalo.
elite at 1 o'clock, though, man.
Yeah.
No,
I'll go 28. I'll go 28-17.
We 35-0'd them in 2021 in Miami. Last year, we had the 3-pick game in Miami.
I think they're going to fall apart completely. I think this is going to be.
Yeah.
We're not going to hit 40 because we're calling the dogs off. I think this is a 31-7 game. 31-6.
Jalen Waddle gets a garbage touchdown for my fantasy teams.
I don't think he's getting. I don't think they don't have Waller's not playing anymore. Tyreek's hurt. I mean, all they got is Waddle and A-Chain. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, guess who beat? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but guess who beat us in Atlanta? Bijan and Drake London.
I did call the score right last week.
But as much as Penix sucks, he might be better than Tua at this point.
I called the score right last week. 28-21.
Yeah, for the Chiefs.
Nice.
Fraud.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we did have the Chiefs winning.
Fraud.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Fraud. Shame him in the chats.
Thank you for everybody. We had 383 people watching live right now. It's the most we've had by far. I appreciate everyone for checking in. Please like, share, subscribe. Also, check in with us every week. Our shows we try to keep them relatively condensed at around an hour. This is probably the longest episode we've run because we kind of went on a tangent a little bit. But we try to keep it around an hour so it's easy to watch and you can digest and just watch on your lunch break or whatever. If you can't watch it live. So we try to keep it down so we're not having like a 4-hour show. It's hard to watch sometimes. It's just to make it, easily digestible, I guess. So we do appreciate everybody showing up and doing this. This is really good. And it's probably just because of the trade deadline and the Bills beating the Chiefs, but I don't care. I'm going to take the win. What's Cal Naughton say? Because I know I won this on a technicality, but if you try to take this award from me, I'm going to sock you straight in the face. All right, guys.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.